What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch here, back for another NFL video. This video is going to be the top 10 New England Patriots of all time. The top 10 players, so no coach, no Bill Belichick, no owner, no Robert Kraft can be on this list. It's only players that have played for the Patriots. The list was done with only using statistics from the time that they played for the New England Patriots. This is only players from when they actually played for the New England Patriots. So if a guy like Randy Moss, who only played a few years for the Patriots, only the years he played for the Patriots was taken into account. There was many players for the Patriots, actually more than I actually expected going back and looking, that had a possible chance of making this list. So if there's maybe one guy that you didn't see on this list, definitely check the comments or the description. There will be a list of honorable mentions of guys that were close to making this list. Let's start off with number 10, the 10th best New England Patriot in history, Wes Welker. Wes Welker played for the Patriots from 2007 to 2012. He corralled 672 receptions, had 7,459 yards, and 37 touchdowns. As Wes Welker played for the Patriots, he regularly went to the Pro Bowl. He went to the Pro Bowl every year from 2008 to 2012. He was a two-time first-team All-Pro in 09 and 2011, and a two-time second-team All-Pro in 07 and 08. He's a three-time NFL receptions leader in 07, 09, and 2011, and he also is tied for the record for the longest reception in NFL history against the Miami Dolphins on Monday Night Football. He holds a number of NFL records. He has the most seasons with 100, 105, 110, 115, and 120 catches. The only one being tied with Chris Carter for the most seasons with 120 catches at 2. But he had 5, 100, 105, and 110 seasons. So that's pretty crazy for Wes Welker. Every single season he was with the Patriots, he had at least had 110 receptions every single year. He has the most consecutive seasons with also 110 receptions with 3. He has a number of Patriot records as well, the most career receptions with 672. He had the most career playoff receptions until Julian Edelman just passed him this season. He has the most receptions in a single season with 123 in 2009. The most receiving yards in a single season with 1,500 in 2011. The most seasons with 100 receptions or more, that's 5. And the best receiving yards per game average in a season with 98.1. So, love him or hate him, I think really a guy like Wes Welker is, as a Patriots fan now, you might not look back on him and really focus on actually how great he was in his career, because he kind of left the Patriots on a sour note, and he also had that one infamous drop play in the Super Bowl in 2011. But if you look at Wes Welker's career as a whole, he is a Patriot through and through, and he's one of the best Patriots ever to play. So that being said, Wes Welker and all his records belongs at number 10 on the top 10 Patriots of all time. At number 9, I have Tedy Bruschi. Now, Tedy Bruschi isn't the most talented Patriot that there's ever been, but he's definitely one of the most beloved Patriots that there's ever been, and he's also one of the best leaders that the Patriots have ever had. He played for the Patriots in 1996 till 2008, which was the span of his entire career. He never left the Patriots, and that's part of the reason why he was so beloved. He was also the leader of the best defense that the Patriots have ever had from 2001 to 2004. Bruschi was a Super Bowl champion 3 times, of course, leading the dynasty on defense, being the leader, the middle linebacker, number 54 in the middle of the defense, winning 3 Super Bowls. He was in a Pro Bowl in 2004 and a 2-time second-team All-Pro in 03 and 04. He was also the NFL Comeback Player of the Year in 2005 after he had his stroke in 2005, 2004, right after the season. So he came back to play for the Patriots. A lot of people didn't expect him to come back, and that was part of Tedy Bruschi's character, which made him so beloved from all fans in New England. He had 1,100 tackles in his career, 30.5 sacks, 12 interceptions, and 11 forced fumbles. Bruschi was the first player in NFL history to return 4 consecutive interceptions for touchdowns. So every interception it seemed like Bruschi had was a touchdown. Of course, there's that one moment that sticks out to me against the Dolphins where he returned it for a pick 6 and he did the snow bath. That's definitely a very memorable moment as a Patriots fan, and watching Tedy Bruschi's defenses over the years. Tedy Bruschi, like I said, very beloved. One of the most famous Patriots defensive players, and he was also one of the best. I think he was a player that, he really represented the team, and he did anything that Bill or the team asked him to do. And I think he was a little overlooked from the rest of the league standpoint. I think he should have made a couple more Pro Bowls. I was surprised he really only had one on his resume. But Tedy Bruschi, as a Patriot, he represents what it's all about to be a New England Patriot, so he comes in at number 9. At number 8, I have Adam Vinatieri. Adam Vinatieri played for the Patriots from 1996 till 2005. He was a 3-time Super Bowl champion with the Patriots, playing on those same teams that Tedy Bruschi did. He was also a 3-time Pro Bowler with, or a 2-time Pro Bowler with the Patriots in 2002 and 2004. He was also a Pro Bowler in 2014. It's much more difficult for a kicker to become a Pro Bowler because there's only one guy that gets in. He was a 3-time first-team All-Pro, and he was on the NFL 2000s All-Decade team. So he was considered the best kicker throughout the 2000s. He has 2 game-winning Super Bowl kicks. He also has that probably the greatest kick of all time against the Raiders in the Snow Bowl. He made 2 consecutive kicks that were just ridiculous, that were mind-blowing at the time against the Raiders. But Adam Vinatieri will definitely go down as the most clutch kicker in NFL history. He was a huge part of the Patriots dynasty. If he wouldn't have made those kicks, they wouldn't have won those Super Bowls. And you have to think about it this way. Adam Vinatieri was often named by Bill Belichick as the best player on the team. Not only one of the most consistent players on the team, but the best player on the team, especially throughout that 2001 season where they ended up beating the Rams for their first Super Bowl championship. Vinatieri was just passed by Gronkowski for the most franchise points in Patriots history, but he is amongst the top 3 in points in NFL history in terms of kicking. So he's right below the number 1 mark. He might get that when his career is said and done. It was sad to see when he left the Patriots in 2006 for the Indianapolis Colts, but it was cool to see him win another championship with the Colts and Peyton Manning. But Vinatieri definitely, I think, will be remembered as a Patriot for his 3 Super Bowl titles, for his clutch kicks, and he'll definitely go down as the greatest kicker of all time, in my opinion. At number 7, we have Troy Brown. Troy Brown played for the Patriots from 1993 to 2007. He had 557 receptions, 6,366 yards, and 31 touchdowns. He also had 3 returning touchdowns, that's punts and kicks. He was a 1-time Pro Bowler, a 3-time Super Bowl champion, and Brown played his entire 15-year career with the Patriots. He earned 3 Super Bowl rings with the team. He played on 5 of the 8 Patriot teams to reach the Super Bowl, and he retired as the franchise leader in receptions. His primary position, of course, as you know, was receiver, but he also contributed as one of the best returners in the NFL at kick returner, punt returner, and even played a little bit on defense as a cornerback in the 2004 season when they were down a lot of injuries. And many years later, as we saw with Julian Edelman, Troy Brown was actually the first one to be able to do that, to play both sides of the ball for the Patriots. And that was just the type of player that Troy Brown was. He, in his days as a DB, this is just showed his versatility, and he like Tedy Bruschi, represented what the Patriots were all about. It's not that Troy Brown was the greatest receiver ever to play for the Patriots or the most talented guy. I think that definitely has to go to Randy Moss. But in terms of just being a Patriot and representing what it was all about, to do your job and play with a team, and representing what the culture of the New England Patriots is all about, definitely Troy Brown is amongst the top of the list for that. He would not only, like I said, return kicks, make tough catches over the middle, was one of the first guys to really, if you think about it, he was that first slot receiver in the era of the Patriots when they really started the trend of slot receivers. Slot receivers weren't very common until Troy Brown came along and Bill Belichick implemented this offense with Tom Brady and everybody else. And then he passed that on to Wes Welker, which passed that on to Julian Edelman. So Troy Brown was the first one to end up doing that role. And also just the way that he played defense and he did everything for the team. So Brown is definitely a fan favorite amongst many Patriots fans due to his style of play and years of dedication to the team. Troy Brown comes in at number 7 as the 7th greatest Patriot of all time. At number 6, I have a guy that might be getting into the Hall of Fame, Ty Law. Ty Law is up for the Hall of Fame ballot this season. We'll see if he gets in or not. He played from 1995 to 2004 with the Patriots. In his career as a Patriot, he had 53 interceptions, 7 touchdowns, and 5 sacks. I actually believe that's his career statistics with the Jets, Chiefs, and Patriots as well, and Broncos. Law was a 2-time All-Pro, a 5-time Pro Bowl selection, a Pro Bowl MVP, and he won 3 Super Bowls with the Patriots. His 53 career interception mark ranks 22nd all-time in NFL history. He's also widely regarded as one of the best Patriot defensive backs of all time. He's definitely my favorite Patriot defensive back of all time. When I grew up, Ty Law was definitely one of the best corners in the league, and he was named to the NFL 2000s All-Decade Team, very much like Adam Vinatieri. He was a 2-time interception leader in the NFL, and he led the AFC in interceptions as well in 2005 with the Jets after the Patriots let him go. He was very injury-riddled at the end of his career with the Patriots, and he just wanted too big of a contract that Bill Belichick would not give him. He was a 2-time NFL Alumni DB of the Year in 1998 and 2003, and in the Super Bowl years of 01 and 03, in 6 games, he had 4 interceptions. So Ty Law was known as that clutch defensive player for the Patriots that came up with many plays. Willie Mcginest is the all-time sack leader for NFL history in the playoffs, but Ty Law was arguably the best defensive back in NFL history in the playoffs. Ty Law was one of the best, and he had 4 interceptions in 6 games. Of course, we remember where he takes the ball and puts it over his head, lifting it up against the Rams for the pick 6. He also had 3 interceptions against Peyton Manning in the 2003 AFC Championship game. He was unable to play in the 2004 playoffs, but he was definitely a leader of the defense. He gave a confidence to the defense, and he was one of the most talented players and smartest defensive backs I've ever seen. So Ty Law comes in at number 6. At number 5 is another cornerback for the Patriots, Mike Haynes. Haynes did not play during the dynasty years. Instead, he played in the 70s and 80s. He played from 1976 to 1982. As a Patriot, he had 28 interceptions with 393 interception yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 return touchdowns because he was also a punt returner. He was the first great corner and the first great returner that the Patriots ever had. He was a 5-time Pro Bowler as a Patriot and the 76 Defensive Rookie of the Year. He was a great returner and an even better cornerback. Mike Haynes is considered to be one of the best DBs of all time and is the best cornerback to ever play for New England. Ty Law gives him a run for his money, but Mike Haynes' ability and just pure athleticism, I think, puts him over the top. He was a very fast corner. He had a ton of athleticism, whether it was, jumping, agility, speed, strength. Mike Haynes had it all. He also had anticipation, a very smart player, and one of the only defensive players to really be able to, see the field. Ty Law had that ability, but it's very rare that cornerbacks and defensive backs are able to, read the entire field. Even like a Devin McCourty kind of has that today. But Mike Haynes, as a Patriot, was one of the only guys to have that. He was the first defensive player that Patriots fans really loved. So Mike Haynes comes in at number 5. He also played with the Oakland Raiders, but I'm not really going to talk about that because this is only a Patriots list. But Mike Haynes is a Hall of Famer and one of the greatest Patriots of all time. At number 4, We go with the guy that only played for the Patriots and is also in the Hall of Fame, Andre Tippett. Tippett played in 1982 all the way till 1993. He had 100 sacks exactly in his career and 1 interception. He played 151 games and was one of the best 3-4 outside linebackers of all time. Also one of the players to really revolutionize the position, because before him, there was him, Lawrence Taylor, really at the same time, and they came in at the same time, and they revolutionized that position to play 3-4 outside linebacker. But before that, players like Tippett really played 4-3 D end, but Tippett was able to stand up. He was able to play a little bit in coverage, but be a beast as a pass rusher. And he became a 5-time Pro Bowler from 84 to 88, a 2-time first-team All-Pro, 85-87, and a 2-time second-team All-Pro in 86 and 88. He's a Pro Football Hall of Famer. In 2008, he was inducted. He was on the 1980s All-Decade team, and Tippett was named the AFC's Linebacker of the Year for 3 straight years from 1985 to 87. So while Lawrence Taylor was taking over the NFL and the NFC, Tippett was his counterpart in the AFC. And because he played at the same time as Lawrence Taylor, I really believe that Andre Tippett doesn't get enough credit for his success as a football player, because he was overshadowed by the greatness of Lawrence Taylor. But Andre Tippett is the best pass rusher in Patriots history. He's also the best defensive player in Patriots history, coming in at number 4 on the list. At number 3 on the list, I have Rob Gronkowski. Rob Gronkowski has 405 receptions in his career for 6,000 yards, 15 yards per catch, which I believe is the record for a tight end, but I'm not exactly sure, so don't quote me on that. 68 touchdowns, and he was a Super Bowl champion in 2014, 4-time Pro Bowler in 11, 12, 14, and 15, and a 4-time first-team All-Pro in 11, 12, 14, and 15. He's an NFL Comeback Player of the Year in 2014 and the NFL receiving touchdown leader in 2011. Gronkowski set the single-season record for touchdowns by a tight end with 17 receiving touchdowns and 18 overall, as well as the single-season record for receiving yards by a tight end with 1,327. He became the first tight end in NFL history to lead the league in receiving touchdowns, and in his first 6 seasons, he had 65 receiving touchdowns. Only 2 tight ends in NFL history have had more in their entire careers. So, as Gronk has only played about 6 to 7 to 8 years in the NFL, in his first 6 seasons, he had 65 receiving touchdowns, which only 2 tight ends in NFL history had more in their entire careers. That is pretty crazy. I believe both of them are Antonio Gates and Tony Gonzalez. First tight end to have 3 seasons with 10-plus touchdowns and 1,000 receiving yards. He has the most career postseason receiving touchdowns by a tight end. And if you really think about it, he hasn't played that much in the playoffs because he often gets hurt when the Patriots have gone into the playoffs. The full season where he was really healthy was 2014, and they ended up winning the Super Bowl, and he had probably the most touchdowns that year as well. He also had the most receiving yards by a tight end in a season, as I brought up, with 1,327. But I think, in my opinion, Gronkowski is most likely to go down as the greatest tight end in NFL history, giving a couple more years of great success. He is by far the most dominant tight end in a single season, and by a season measure, Gronkowski is the most dominant physical beast of a tight end that we've ever seen in the NFL. He's also the best receiving threat that the Patriots have ever had in their history, and he's just one of the most unique players that I've ever come across and ever watched in the NFL. He dominates in such a way that has never really been seen before. He's a very unique character, and he definitely suits this new Patriot style of play. So Rob Gronkowski is tough. He often gets credited with not only being, a party animal, but being a very focused individual that is a great team guy, and I think he really fits in as a Patriot. So as a Patriot, as a winner, as an individual talent, Rob Gronkowski comes in at number 3 on the top 10 Patriots of all time. At number 2, I have John Hannah. John Hanna played for the Patriots during the 70s and the 80s. He only played for the Patriots, and he is considered one of the greatest pro football offensive linemen of all time. He was a 9-time Pro Bowler from 1976 and then 1978 to all the way to 85. So really 7 seasons in a row he was a Pro Bowler, or 8 seasons in a row he was a Pro Bowler. 10-time first team All-Pro from 76 all the way to 85. He was on the NFL's 75th anniversary all-time team. So he was considered the greatest, one of the greatest guards of all time at that point. He's an NFL 1980s All-Decade Team member. Also a 1970s All-Decade Team member. He was elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1991, and Sports Illustrated dubbed him on August 3rd, 1981, the best offensive lineman of all time. That's pretty big honors. Hanna anchored the 1978 offensive line that set a still-standing NFL record with 3,165 rushing yards in a season. So not only was Hanna named the greatest offensive lineman of all time in 81, but he also was on the offensive line in the 70s that had the NFL record for 3,165 yards. He's one of the only people in NFL history to be on 2 all-decade teams. He's one of the only members to be on the 75th anniversary team. He was a 10-time All-Pro, 9-time Pro Bowler, one of the best offensive linemen of all time, and really is one of the best pulling linemen of all time. He was one of the first to really start that, pulling around the edge to block. So John Hanna comes in at number 2. At number 1, I have Tom Brady. Well, of course, who else? The top 10 New England Patriots players has to be capped off with the best player that they've ever had, Tom Brady. If it was Bill Belichick involved on this list, and Robert Kraft as well, I think Tom Brady would have, would have been maybe number 1. It would have been tough to call between Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, and Robert Kraft as the best Patriot of all time. But in terms of Patriot players, Tom Brady is definitely the best. John Hanna is arguably the best guard of all time, but in my opinion, Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback and maybe even the greatest player of all time. He's thrown for 61,000 yards, 456 touchdowns. He's ran for 17 touchdowns. He has 152 interceptions, a 97.2 passer rating. He's a 4-time Super Bowl champion and maybe even a 5-time come this weekend. He's a 3-time Super Bowl MVP, a 12-time Pro Bowler, 2-time First Team All-Pro, a 2-time Second Team All-Pro, a 2-time MVP, a 2-time Offensive Player of the Year, an NFL Comeback Player of the Year, a 4-time NFL Passing Touchdown Leader, a 2-time NFL Passing Yards Leader, the NFL 2000s All-Decade Team Quarterback over Peyton Manning, the winningest quarterback of all time in the regular season, postseason, and Super Bowl, and he has numerous individual and team records for the Patriots and the NFL. There is nothing really else that needs to be said. Without Tom Brady, the Patriots would not have their 4 Super Bowls. They would not be looked at as one of the greatest franchises in NFL history, and they would not have gone on the greatest run maybe in pro sports history. So for the Patriots and for Tom Brady is the greatest player for the Patriots of all time. I don't really think you guys expected anything less, but I don't really need to say much else. Tom Brady is, in my opinion, the greatest quarterback of all time. Again, maybe the greatest player of all time, and he's definitely the greatest Patriot of all time. He embodies not only a great player on the field, but everything that the Patriots are about, and really gives out the message that Bill Belichick sets for the team, and he really sets the tone in the locker room and on the field for the rest of the players. He is the greatest leader, in my opinion, as a quarterback as well, and that has gone a long way with many different teammates and many different seasons. So Tom Brady is the greatest Patriot in NFL history. The list goes like this: Tom Brady at number 1, John Hanna at number 2, Rob Gronkowski at number 3, Andre Tippett at number 4, Mike Haynes at number 5, Ty Law at number 6, Troy Brown at number 7, Adam Vinatieri at number 8, Tedy Bruschi at number 9, and Wes Welker at number 10. Honorable mentions: include Willie Mcginest, Randy Moss, Kevin Faulk, Stanley Morgan, Ben Coates, Rodney Harrison, Steve Nelson, Drew Bledsoe, Steve Grogan, Bruce Armstrong, Julian Edelman, Richard Seymour, and Vince Wilfork. There are many other great Patriots, but those were the honorable mentions I could really think of that were close to making the list. Of course, there are talents on that list, like Rodney Harrison, Randy Moss, and even a Richard Seymour to a certain degree, that given their entire career landscape, they might have made the list. Definitely Randy Moss would have, but given their time as a Patriot, they were just outdone by these 10 players that I think represent what the Patriots are all about the most, had the most team and individual success, and these are the 10 greatest Patriots of all time. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button and comment below if I missed anybody. If you like the list, where you think an individual should be ranked on the list. Did I get number 1, 2, 3, 4 right? What do you guys think? Let me know. It's Mitch of the Bottom Line View. Thanks, guys, for watching, and peace out.